Hi, my name is Young Kim, and today I'd like to briefly explain how AP Modern World History summer classes are conducted here at Able Hagwon. As you can see, we'll focus only on first semester content, which will include Unit 1 to 4, and students will focus on basic knowledge and writing skills that they need for school tests and for the AP exam. As you know, history is pretty intense. It's a lot of information that students need to learn, and when they go to school, teachers often provide too much information, or students will rely on textbooks, which also provide too much information. And information overload actually undermines their ability to perform well in tests because there's so much information that they can't memorize all of it. They also don't know what's important, so they often get multiple choice questions wrong. So what I do over the summer is I provide students with 3 types of notes. During the school year for GPA classes, I provide other notes. But during the summer, I provide just 3 types of notes that helps them study. It helps them learn their detailed information. It teaches them teaches them what big picture ideas are, and also a set of notes to help them memorize more efficiently. So the first set are just basic notes. It's divided by time frame and by region. And the kind of information that I provide is solely what you need to know in the AP. If you don't need to know it, it won't be on the notes. So I tend to cull everything out, and so they have a highly limited amount of information that they need to memorize, which makes learning much more feasible. And it's also divided based on categories, divided on political, economic, social, and cultural categories. So it's also organized analytically. And the reason why I do this is because a lot of young students today, they don't know the difference between political, social, and economic. And this becomes a problem when they have to write their short answer questions or their essays. So this is from 2024, this past year's AP exam. And I'm just going to show you the short answer questions. And if you look at these, they ask you things like, what's the political purpose? What was the economic situation? Here they ask you, what was the impact on the culture? And what was the impact on the economy? So if students don't know what political, social, and economic is, it's detrimental to their grade. Because for the AP, even if you write factually correct statements, if it doesn't answer the question, you get a 0. And that's something that you don't want to happen for students' school tests or for the AP. So that's one way the notes are organized. And then for the second set of notes that I provide are what I call thematic reviews. So world history is divided into time periods. So Unit 1 and 2 is from 1200 to 1450, and Unit 3 and 4 is from 1450 to 1750. And students are required not only to know specific detailed information about each country, but they also have to have a basic idea about basic concepts or themes that happen every time frame. So basically you need to have an understanding of basic patterns. And they have to be able to compare and contrast different time periods with other time periods, and they also have to be able to compare different countries within a time frame. So I provide notes that are organized for that purpose. So for instance, this time frame is 1450 to 1750, and some of the major themes are things like rise of gunpowder empires, absolutism. We also see things like empire building, and I provide examples of each country for each topic. So this gives students a bird's eye view of each time frame, which they need to know in order to answer multiple choice and for writing purposes. And then the final set of notes that they get during summer are what I call drills. So all the information they get is all in the first set of notes, but it's reorganized. Reorganized in the thematic review, and it's also reorganized in this set of drills. So I organize the information based on question and answer. Basically, it's geared towards answering multiple choice questions correctly, and it's also organized in sort of like a vocabulary. So it's very easy for students to do rote memorization. It makes learning information a lot easier. And during the summer, students are required to memorize, and they'll be tested on this information. So they have at least an opportunity, at least once, to learn the information before they go to school. Even though they'll probably forget a lot of it, memorizing it once is actually quite helpful in relearning the information later on. So these are the notes that they'll get during the summer. We also focus on writing. I do short answer questions for all the units that we cover and DBQs. And for a short answer question, on the Real AP, you just need to write somewhere between 1 to 3 sentences per question. As long as you answer it, you get your full credit. But oftentimes for schools, teachers want a formally organized answer. And so that's what I try to teach students to do. So if students are not very good at writing or they don't know what to write, this is a good class to take because I teach them how to write clearly and in an organized manner. So for each question, they'll have to write an answer, and they'll have to provide details, and then they have to provide some kind of significance. And so this teaches students to think a little bit more analytically and to answer the question. And for each unit, I will provide basic questions that they have to know and provide basic answers, potential answers, and then they get to choose what they want to write about. And a lot of young people today, they actually can't answer questions. So they're asked to write about one social impact, and then they'll write about 3 different things, as opposed to taking one and developing it, right? So in class, right, even though it's a group class, every student gets individualized attention because I make comments for their writing, and it actually helps them improve. So this one student had difficulty on the first SAQ, but on the second SAQ, she actually improved. She was able to answer the question, focus on just answering one thing and developing it. So it's actually quite helpful. And so if students do this type of writing over the summer, it gives them a head start when they go to school. They'll be able to adjust a little bit more quickly because they already have some of the foundational skills necessary for their school tests. And then finally, we do DBQs. DBQs have a rubric. Students will read some primary sources, and they have to analyze and then organize it, and they have to fulfill a rubric. And in class, doing DBQ over the summer is not sufficient. You have to do a lot of DBQ practice to get very good at it, but having some practice over the summer gives them an idea about what they're supposed to do. And in class, we work on writing essays. This essay was written a couple weeks ago. This is, I think, the second DBQ that the student wrote. This one student was quite good at it, but basically in class, I teach them to organize their answers. I also color code things so they can see what they're writing, and just to make sure that they can see how they're fulfilling the rubric. And when they analyze each document, I also make them divide into 3 parts. So again, for each document, they have to analyze it. They provide an answer, they provide details from the document, and then they have to provide some kind of analysis. So students are writing in an organized fashion rather than just blurting things out and writing whatever comes to mind. So if these students are weak writers, then this is a good class to take because I teach them how to not only use that historical information, but to write clearly and concisely. So to wrap up, if students this summer have time, it's highly recommended that they take this class. It will give them a head start on learning the information and learning basic writing skills, and it will help them sort of adjust to AP classes and help them study a little bit more efficiently. It gives them a good head start compared to their peers. So I highly recommend summer classes. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the Hagwon and ask for me. Have a good summer. I hope to see you this summer and maybe in the fall. Okay, stay safe. Thank you.